Oh, hello! Today we are here to talk about the books that I bought last month, which ended up being quite a bit because, I don't know, I have impulse control issues. No, I was traveling, so I got some books on vacation. It was Prime Day, so there were some deals there in conjunction with the fact that I had a bunch of gift cards from like a thank you thing from work. So yeah, things happened. We'll talk about it. But before we do, let's thank today's sponsor, which is our good pals at Book of the Month. So as you guys well know at this point, I absolutely love Book of the Month. It is a service that I have used for about 5 years now. And what I really love about them is the great price point that you can get on new release hardcovers and the fact that you can get early release hardcovers. I think that that's really fun. The way it works is that every month they pour through hundreds of titles from new and emerging authors as well as old faves, and they select down a list of 5 to 7 titles that is curated for their membership to choose from. And every month you choose a book. It gets sent right to your door on one of these guys. And just like that, you are reading some of the hottest new releases out there, including these two, which I chose this month. And I was so excited to see Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney on here. This one has been on my radar for a couple of months. I mentioned this in my anticipated releases video that I put out recently. And basically this is an isolation thriller where everybody has come home for grandma's birthday and then, you know, people start dying, I assume, as is wont to happen in a thriller. So I was so excited to see that they picked this one. And then they also picked a sequel to a book that I read and enjoyed, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, called Pieces of Her. This is Girl Forgotten by Karen Slaughter, which is the follow-up to that book. And I really enjoyed Karen Slaughter's actual writing, and I've not gotten around to reading more from her. So I figured since they have the sequel to the book that I've already read from her, this would be a great time to give this a try. So these are the 2 that I selected for August, but there are several others, so you can go and check out which ones sound best to you. And also keep in mind that they have recently launched a great new podcast, which is 2 of their editorial staff interviewing some of their favorite authors in front of a live studio audience. So if you are interested in adding another bookish podcast into the rotation, which who isn't, you can definitely go give that a listen. They are on Apple and Spotify. So once again, thank you so much to Book of the Month. And if you use the code Sizzle, you can get your first book for $9.99. Can't beat that for a hardcover new release. So use the code Sizzle. And thank you once again to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so we can divide all these books, I think, into 3 categories. Books that I have read or am currently reading. Okay, so those don't even really count, right? That's how I feel about it. Books that I haven't read and don't even necessarily have a full plan for, but I wanted them or they had a price drop or whatever. And then books that I got for collection purposes. So maybe let's just start with the most shameful pile first. I guess the only good thing I can say is that because of the price drops and gift cards involved, it doesn't feel like I paid that much for this stack of books. And several of these I got on a recommendation. So what am I supposed to do? Just like not be influenced by my fellow booktubers or book talkers or bookstagrammers? I think not. Let's start with We Sold Our Souls by Grady Hendrix. I got this because I realized recently that I only had to get a few books to be able to have caught up with Grady Hendrix's backlist, because I've already read, oh goodness, My Best Friend's Exorcism, Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and The Final Girl support group. So I have Horror Store, which I think I may try to get to this month. Maybe I should save that for October. I'm not sure. Anyway, I have Horror Store already, and then We Sold Our Souls, I think, is some kind of version of a horror novel on tour with a heavy death metal band. It is called Dirt Work, and it's got the umlauts. It's got the umlauts over it, as heavy metal bands are wont to have in their names. So I just think this sounds fun. I like Grady Hendrix. I was also sorry, I just hit myself in the face with this. I was sold by the fact that it had like these dark sprayed edges that I thought was rad. So yeah, we're continuing to make our way through Grady Hendrix's oeuvre. This is one, who influenced me on this? This was one I know I got influenced on. Oh, I think Books and Lala was talking about this. This Vicious Grace by Emily Thede, not sure. This, part of why I picked this up was because it was only $9, if I'm remembering rightly. But it is a YA paranormal romance where our main character is a vampire who like keeps killing guys that she tries to get with. And that just sounds like my vibe. That just seems like a lot of fun. Yeah, 3 weddings, 3 funerals. Alessia's gift from the gods is supposed to magnify a partner's magic, not kill every suitor she touches. But then she's finally gonna... Oh yeah, oh, he's her bodyguard. That's right. Desperate to survive, Alessia hires Dante, a cynical outcast marked as a killer, to become her personal bodyguard. Love ensues. So I just thought this sounded like a lot of fun. I don't think my library had this, so that's why I decided since it was so inexpensive, I would go ahead and grab a copy. Then we have The Science of Murder by Carla Valentine, Forensics of Agatha Christie. I've had this on my radar for a while, but it turns out that I was looking at the UK version instead of the US version, and when I looked it up under this title instead of, I forget what the UK title was, it was available. So I was like, oh, I've just been waiting for this to come out for no reason. It's already been out. So this is a nonfiction book exploring forensics in Agatha Christie's books. You guys know I'm an Agatha Christie nerd, so this appealed to me. And I've actually heard good reviews for it already, so hopefully I will be sufficiently entertained by it. And then 2, both of these were influenced by Angela from Literature Science Alliance. We were on a World Hoppers live stream and she talked about these 2 books and I just immediately bought them. So first of all, Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. I also have the Hollow Places that I need to read from T. Kingfisher. Oh, wow, so look at the beautiful in pages. But this is about our main character, Mara, which we love, rescuing her sister who's a princess from an abusive prince. And I think that she's like a witch. Angela just sold the hell out of it when she was talking about it. So I 100% was just straight up peer pressured into buying that. And then she was also raving about this middle grade fantasy called The Last Quintista by Donna Barbara Iguera. And again, she just sold the hell out of this. It was a Newbery Award winner and she just made this sound amazing. So I'm just straight up blaming Angela for both of these. And this one has a main character who wakes up on a new planet and figures out that she's the only person who remembers Earth because she's on a spaceship going to a new planet and nobody else on the spaceship remembers that they came from Earth. So this just sounded really lovely, middle grade, sci-fi. We love to see it. This is a TikTok pick. I've seen a ton of people reading Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry, and this is described as a cozy fantasy, which I am definitely into that as a vibe. I don't know that I've read a lot of things that have been marketed as cozy fantasy. It's more that they just end up being that. So yeah, I've seen a lot of people really loving this. I know Leanna hated this, but you know, I don't know how on board she is with coziness in general. The tagline is literally a novel of high fantasy and low stakes. So this just sounds lovely. I think that they're working in some sort of like fantasy coffee shop. Yeah, I think it's somebody getting like pulled back into their life of adventuring. So I'm excited to dip into this one at some point and see if Book Talk has led me astray. I have to say their hit rate is not great, and yet I keep being influenced still. The last one is The Long Weekend by Jilly McMillan. This is one I've had on my radar for a while. This was an anticipated 2022 release for me, and there was a huge price drop on it, so I went ahead and grabbed it. It is an isolation thriller. The tagline is 3 couples, 2 bodies, 1 secret. I'm wondering how this is going to compare to Secluded Cabin Sleep 6 by Lisa Unger, which comes out, I think, in... I want to say October or November. So it seems like maybe kind of a similar premise. I don't know, but I am a sucker for an isolation trope and I've had my eye on this one for a while. Okay, so that's the most egregious stuff. The rest of this I've at least read or am currently reading. So that feels, you know, like I'm at least doing my part to not let it linger on my TBR. So first we have these 4 books, which I picked up all of these on vacation. If you want to see my full thoughts about all of these, there was a vlog that was a combination of a travel vlog and me reading the books that I bought while I was traveling. So if you want to see some, you know, footage of Wales and Scotland, go check that out. But that was Embassy Town by China Mieville. Not bad, but not for me, I would say was my feeling on this. The Wildcats of Exeter by Edward Marston, which is a historical mystery, and I could not get past the misogyny, so I DNF'd it. The Dark by Emma Houghton. This is an isolation thriller set in Antarctica. The last doctor who was at the Antarctic Research Center died, and the replacement doctor is our main character. She thinks someone killed him. She's trying to figure out what happened. Good, not great, fun to pass the time. If it's as hot where you are as it is where I am, this definitely evoked the cold winter feel nicely, so I appreciated that. But fine, but I won't remember it in a year. And the biggest hit was The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. This was the first Neil Gaiman that I have read, and I don't think it will be the last because the writing was absolutely lovely. I would describe this probably as like literary fantasy. Yeah, that feels right. And it's a lot about memory and childhood. So this was definitely the hit of that particular group of books. And then I also picked up a copy of Ace, What Asexuality Reveals About Desire, Society, and the Meaning of Sex by Angela Chen. This was a book that I read last year and very much enjoyed, and I wanted to reread some of it for reference, so I decided to go ahead and get a physical copy instead of trying to find, like I was looking for some specific topics, and having a physical index to help you with that. It's a little easier than just doing the audio. So yeah, this is something I definitely recommend. I want to say that this might be what they end up picking for the Book Communa Read for September, so there's also that. But yeah, this is a super good book. Highly recommended. Then I also got an ARC of a book that is coming out in September, which is Marple 12 New Mysteries by Agatha Christie, but actually by a bunch of different authors. Also note, my friend Amanda sent me an Agatha Christie bookmark for my birthday. Look at this beautiful wooden bookmark. So I now have a special bookmark to use when I'm reading something related to Agatha Christie. I've read 2 of the stories so far and I enjoyed both of them. Critiques, but enjoyed. So we'll see. I'm doing this as a part of a vlog. You will see my full thoughts in that vlog. So stay tuned, but I appreciate William Morrow for sending a copy my way. And then finally, last but not least, I have 3 books that I am calling collection books. So books that I bought primarily for the collection that they are in. First, I just think it's funny to juxtapose. I thought about putting this in books I've already read category, but then I thought it would be fun to juxtapose an Ice Planet Barbarian book with 2 classics. I make myself laugh. Isn't that what's important? Barbarian Lover by Ruby Dixon. This is the 3rd book in the Ice Planet Barbarian series. I'm really enjoying the new releases that we're getting from Berkeley with these lovely covers. I just love this series. It's a comfort read for me. These also include the bonus material, so the little honeymoon story that is a separate book on Kindle Unlimited. It is bound up with this, and I know we're definitely getting book 4, so hopefully we're gonna just keep on going, but I am collecting these as they come out in this edition, and yeah. Oh, I just noticed she has her little translation device on here. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, yeah. Anyway, y'all know I'm trash for the Ice Planet Barbarian books. They are some of my favorite. And then I have 2 penguins for my collection. So first of all, I have Bless Me Ultima by Rudolfo Anaya. And this is a Mexican-American classic, or I guess just maybe like a, yeah, okay, no. He's in New Mexico. It is literary fiction, and it is about Antonio Merez I think it's sort of like a coming of age story. And let's see here. As Tony seeks out his own destiny, torn between his mother's farming forebears and his father's wandering vaquero roots, between Spanish Catholicism and the gods of his indigenous ancestors, Ultima's loving tutelage will help him navigate questions of life and death, good and evil, and reveal to him the vastness of the heritage that shapes him in this pioneering work of literature, the best-selling Chicanx novel of all time. So I had not heard of this. This is part of what I really like about the series, is that it puts books onto my radar that I hadn't heard of before. And so yeah, whenever I get around to my Penguin Vitae reading challenge, this will be happily on that list. So yeah, I added this to my Penguin Vitae collection of books. And then last but certainly not least, we have the latest Penguin Clothbound Classic, which is The Turn of the Screw by Henry James, and I'm assuming other stories. Yeah, other ghost stories, because Turn of the Screw is not that long. This has a bunch of eyes, which I think are meant to be super creepy, though this does kind of remind me of the 1984 one, which also had a bunch of eyes on it. So I don't know. Anyway, yeah, we got some Henry James. I don't think that this is like one of my all-time favorites in the collection. I'm kind of tired of these navy covers, to be honest. Like, I wish we would have a little more variety, but it is an appropriate design, and you guys know I am a sucker for any new cloth-bound classic. So with that is today's haul. I want to thank Book of the Month once again for sponsoring today's video, and a reminder that you can use the code SIZZLE to get your first book for $9.99. Can't beat that. I'm excited to get to Daisy Darker, so if you want to join me in particular in reading Daisy Darker, that would be my recommendation. But yeah, thank you once again to Book of the Month for supporting the channel. If you guys want to use that link, that's another great way to support the channel. So let me know what you thought of any of the books that we talked about today. Let me know if you've gotten any exciting new books recently. Yeah, I think that will do it for me. So if you enjoyed today's video, please like, subscribe, follow me on the social medias if you are so inclined. I have all that information listed in the description box below, and I think that will do it. I hope you're having an absolutely lovely day today, and I will just talk to you soon. Bye!